attain bliss and quickly realize non-birth. Cung kính đại đức tận tình, vị thứ Pháp vui khắp nhất thiết chúng sanh. Thính chuyên diệu pháp luân, giáo đạo ngã mùng, như á liêu sanh thoát tư, lý khổ đạt lạc, tốc chứng vô sanh. Homage to the Blessed, Noble, and Perfectly Enlightened One. Namo Saranto Suchiro Ye Lahudi San Miao San Puto Ye. Namo Tadakta Tuya Daya Lahade Tamyo Tambo Da Toa. The unsurpassed, profound, subtle, and wonderful Dharma in 100,000 million aeons is difficult to encounter. Now that I am able to see and hear, I will receive and maintain it. I vow to fathom the thus come one's true and actual principles. Wu sheng 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 wei miao fa bai qian万劫难遭遇，我今见闻得受持，愿解如来真实义。O Buddhas and Bodhisattvas, Great Master Qingliang, Great Master YongHua, all good monks and nuns, and all good no advisors, Emitofuo. 诸佛菩萨、精良大师、师父上人、各位持者人、各位善知识，弥陀佛。Chư Phật Bồ Tát kính thưa Thanh Lương Đại sư Hòa thượng Tiên Hóa, quý thầy cô và quý vị thiện tri thức A Di Đà Phật. Hello everyone. Today is the 6th of August 2023. We're here at Go Force to continue discussing the first chapter of the Avatamsaka Sutra. Thank you for coming. I'm glad you're here. We are discussing these chapters about the world rulers. So these are the Mahasattvas, and we, as we hear the names and being mentioned and being brought up here, they are only a small representative number of the boundless world rulers in the universe, and it tells you that each of them follows a different kind of Dharma door in order to become enlightened. You see, and that's why in Buddhism we say we have 84,000 Dharma doors. You're only listening to only a handful of Dharma doors. Okay. But each one of them has their own Dharma doors in their practice. And that shows you how profound, how versatile Buddhism really is. And there's different approaches, different ways of practices for every single person, every single being. Okay? So it should help us broaden our mind. It's a lot more profound, a lot more than we know of. Okay, so here, 261. Celestial King, most profound voice of light, gain a passage into liberation and contemplating the ocean of infinite spiritual powers and wisdom.
圣身光阴天王得观察无尽神通智慧海解脱门。
Okay, so just as a reminder, the realm we live in, we reside, is called the desire realm. It's called the desire realm because we hear and we have boundless desire. We want this, we want that, infinitely, endlessly. There's no end to the kind of desires we have. Okay, 欲界. And so it's a realm of desires. So that's why it's not uncommon for us to be here and we want this, we want that, and there's no end to our desires. Okay, and then that's why we're so scattered, because we have so many desires. We are constantly being distracted by this desire or the other desire and the next desire and so forth, endlessly. So that's why people in the desire realm are basically scattered. They cannot concentrate. The typical person here who reside here cannot concentrate at all. As soon as they think of something, another thought will arise and distract them and pull them a different direction, constantly. Okay, that's why it's called desire realm. And if you practice, you have some kind of spiritual practice, then you learn to develop a concentration, and you enter something called the first level of concentration, which is universal, not only for Buddhism, but for all sorts of spiritual practices. The first dhyana. First dhyana is the first level of concentration. Actually, it's so fragile that we don't really, in the China world, we don't even look at it as samadhi at all. We look at it as quasi-samadhi, because it's so fragile, you can be distracted. It's not very stable at all. You cannot stay in the first dhyana for very long. And then you continue your practice, and then you go into this next level, which is second dhyana. This is where the heavens are. This heaven or second dhyana, this is where these God kings are. Okay, so what does it mean? Desire realm, physically, it's here. Our earth is part of the desire realm, and up to the space up there are the heavens of desire realm. And the form realm, the next level, first dhyana, second dhyana, so forth, they're much higher in space. So what those beings are actually are called heavenly beings. That's why they call celestial king, the king of celestial beings. And so they live in palaces. The richer ones live in very, very, very adorned palaces. They are suspended in space. So far, so good. If you open, and with this slide here talks about spiritual powers. If you open your spiritual powers, then there's something called the heavenly eye. You can see actually to the heavens. Okay, and anyone can do that. It's not only reserved for the Buddhists. The non-Buddhists also can open the heavenly eye, and they can see up in the heavens as well. Okay, the only difference is that we see clearer. Like our focus is much better lens, if you will, and then we see a lot further than they can. Okay, all right. So that's what happens. These celestial kings are actually Mahasattvas, very high-level bodhisattvas, who became enlightened. How did he become enlightened? He says, gaining passage into liberation, meaning he became enlightened, and he was liberated from his suffering. He no longer suffers. Okay? He has no more suffering. That's why it's meant by, again, a passage into liberation. He knows how to end sufferings. Okay? Confused people don't know how to end the suffering. The victims of the sufferings, where these enlightened people, they have wisdom, therefore they put an end to the suffering. They are liberated from the suffering. How did he attain liberation from the suffering? By contemplating the ocean. Ocean meaning a lot, okay? Uncountable. Ocean of infinite spiritual powers and wisdom, okay? So, infinite spiritual powers. Spiritual powers, what are spiritual powers? Spiritual powers are what your minds are capable of, okay? Your spirits are capable of, Okay, so when you practice chant, for example, it's fairly commonplace for you to open your heavenly eye, and you can see in the heavens, you see down to the hells, and so forth. And that's called a spiritual power, is a heavenly eye. Or you can develop something called heavenly ear, where you can hear again in the heavens or down in the hells. Okay, so that's why you often hear the strange people claiming they can see this, they can see that, they can see ghosts, for example. You can see ghosts because you have the spiritual eye. Okay, and so the spiritual power is a natural consequence, it's a natural result of your spiritual practice. Okay, if you have spiritual practices, you naturally will have spiritual powers. And most of the time they're not stable. They, because of the nature of spiritual powers, when the people have spiritual powers, actually their spiritual powers are very unstable. Master Xuanyang, for example, has a lot of spiritual powers, but his are very stable. There's a reason for that. I'm not teaching you that. So far, so good. Okay? So I would like to remind you that ordinary people, low-level people, tend to be enamored with spiritual powers. They feel it's kind of cool. Actually, advanced practitioners look at spiritual powers as a nuisance, okay? Because it brings a lot more trouble for you than worth it. For example, if you open your heavenly eye, do you know that means that potentially you can see what the numbers are for next Super Lotto? It's right now close to $2 billion, over $1 billion. Would you like to know that? No? No one? No one at all? See, you're so pure. I would like to know. And if I win, I make an offering to the temple. I have a good cause. And so this heavenly eye can see that. You can potentially see what the winning numbers are. Wouldn't that be cool? You're so greedy. And but the problem is that every time you do spiritual powers, your blessings are exhausted. It's very much like if you, let's say, you want to open your heavenly eye and you want to see into the heavens, okay? It's similar to you going into a movie theater and wanting to watch a movie. You have to pay to get in, yes? Entrance fees. Yes, same thing. You want to see, you have to pay. You have to pay with your spiritual blessings. And this is why if you have wisdom, you don't want to use spiritual powers needlessly, because it's exhausts your blessings, which you need to cultivate and make further progress. Okay? So what happens is that what you should be shooting for your spiritual practices is wisdom. Okay? With wisdom, then you know how to use your spiritual powers. If not, you'll be wasting your blessings. Is that clear? So usually they need to come, the order of preference, you want to open your wisdom first, then spiritual powers will naturally come later. That should be the order. Whereas a non-Buddhist, they, for example, the Taoists or the Hindus, the yogis and so forth, they're really enamored with spiritual powers. And they neglect wisdom. That's why they tend to abuse their spiritual powers. They try to show off with their spiritual powers in order to get more donations. See that? And that's a problem of the problem with spiritual powers if you don't have wisdom, you will abuse them. Okay, so that's why it's better for us to open our wisdom first and then develop spiritual powers after we have wisdom. Is that clear? That's our approach. Okay, so this guy here, what did he do? He contemplated, meaning he looked at the ocean, the multitude, the vast multitude of the Buddha's spiritual powers and wisdom. And by looking at the Buddha's spiritual powers and wisdom, he became enlightened. Okay? Does it say that you need to recite a mantra or you need to recite a sutra? No, he just sat there and he contemplated the Buddha's spiritual powers and wisdom. And he said, wow. And one day, he became enlightened. Very high level. Questions or comments? Okay, that's one Dharma door. That's one way to become enlightened. Okay, and then now he's a world ruler, and what does he do? In the second dhyana, that's heaven, second heaven in the form realm, next realm, our realm, desire realm, next realm is form realm, which consists of 4 heavens: first dhyana, second dhyana, third dhyana, fourth dhyana. Second dhyana, heavens right there. In that heaven, which is considered to be the real first level where you have concentration, and when you reach that level, something happens. Okay, you emit light. All the celestial beings in second dhyana, they emit light. They're very bright, so they don't need theater lights or lamps to read. They said, and they emit light, and they can see. Okay? And so that's the nature of the residents of the second dhyana heavens. They all emit light. Okay? And how do they communicate? They don't talk like us. Yeah? Okay? They don't use iPhones either. They have Samsung. The Koreans here, that's why I'm trying to kiss up to them. Okay? They communicate by light. They speak with light. Okay? So they want to say something. Their light is what they want to say is conveyed by the lights. Okay? So they look at each other. Oh yeah, I'm fine. Thank you very much. How's your wife? And so forth. Okay? But they don't speak. The light going back and forth, that's why you see all these lights, and all sorts of lights. It's kind of cool, Red light means something, green light means something, very much like our world, where green light means you can drive. All right? And so now, so that's why it's there. Light here actually conveys the message. That's why most profound voice of light. Okay, so his light conveys what's the most profound voice. His light, he uses it to speak Dharma to his subjects. Okay, very profound Dharmas. He uses very simple words, probably no Buddhist jargons at all, but actually they're profound principles of wisdom. All right, next. 263, Celestial King, vast renown, gain a passage into liberation of observing how the fulfillment of oceanic merit and virtue allows Buddhas to appear in the world and employ the power of expedients.
广大名称天王得一切佛功德海，满足出现世间方便力解脱门。
Hey, you sound better today. Is it a microphone or what happened? Huh? some external help. You can tell she sounds different from yesterday, doesn't she? Or is this my imagination? Maybe something I ate for lunch today. Anyway, so how does this person, what is Dharma door for him to become enlightened? Okay, he observed. Okay, see that? He observed. Contemplating, observing, same thing. Okay, one, two. Where is observing? Where is the Chinese for observing? What is the Chinese character? It says observe. Are we missing a Chinese character? Hey, Ivy, get to work. Don't be so lazy. Jesus. She said, I'm going to take it easy. I have a tough week. God. Okay, so never mind. Okay, never mind observing. I don't see how observing. I'm trying to understand how to. Trying to figure out how to explain to you observing. But okay, whatever he did, he saw that the Buddha, okay, has an ocean full of merit and virtue. All Buddhas have oceanic merit and virtue. Meaning that there's no merit and virtue that they did not do. What's merit and virtue? Merit is you add to the world. You build a bridge, is to merit, to create merit. You create something. You add. You add something positive to society, that is to create merit. So far, so good. You benefit others is to create merits. What about virtues? Virtues is you take losses. Okay? You choose to take losses instead of taking gains. So basically, what's a virtuous person? A virtuous person is actually a loser. Can we say loser? But different kind of loser, not the same as those losers as I call losers. This is a special kind of loser, okay? Where they actually choose to lose so that you can gain. They don't want to take gains. They don't want to take advantage of you. They'd rather you take advantage of them. And they'd rather that you get what you want, not what they want. That's called virtues. And that's a difference, for example, between what I call abbot versus non-abbots. Abbots are supposed to be virtuous. He's asleep. It's okay. There's a world of difference between an abbot and non-abbot. Okay, next level down is this so far apart. Because the abbots are supposed to be virtuous, take losses. It's stupid to be an abbot, actually, because you're supposed to take losses. There's no gains, no gain whatsoever. All right? So Buddhas, they became Buddhas because they help and help and help and help, okay? They built and built and built and built. They contributed endlessly without ever saying that, that's enough, okay? I've done enough. They said, no, I haven't done enough. It's never enough. And that's exemplified by Master YongHua, my Chinese teacher. He worked day and night until his last breath, and his body is so sick, so sickened by his work, but he never took a break. Okay? He exemplifies merit and virtue. He's not a perfect individual. His work is not perfect, but his merit and virtue, Dharma door, is perfect. He never stopped, day and night. That's the one thing that I don't know of many people who can do that. Especially if you're sick. He was so sick. And people kept on coming at him and asking him for favors. I remember coming to him when he was in West Covina, down south in Southern California, when he was very, very sick. He was skin and bones, and he was wearing his pajamas. And so I came to see him with my parents back then, because my parents were presenting him with a check of $100,000. So I tag along. So I say, hey, my free entrance ticket, their checks. And so they came to we came to see him, and I just tag along. And then since I was there, I look at him. I said, wow, this monk is so short. Short people don't deserve to live. I'm never mind. He's so short. But what amazed me what's amazing is that he could hardly walk to the sofa. Okay, his room is on. This is a townhouse in West Covina. So you walk from his room to the sofa, and you see that he's wearing his short pajamas, the sangha clothes, sangha pajamas, if you will. And then he only would put on his sash. That's it. There's no robes, because putting a robe is too painful for him. You know that? For him to reach his arm into this is too much work, and it's too much movement. So the body is hurting. So he could only put on the sash on top of his pajamas. That's it. Okay? And he pretended to be normal. Because later, when I became ordained as a novice, about 6 months later, he was sitting on this wheelchair that has a cushion underneath, because he could not even sit. Oh, barely 5 months later, he could not even sit. I mean, I know I should be crying, but I'm not. It's just too much suffering. You can't, crying doesn't even come even close to the kind of suffering he underwent. Can you imagine? He could not even sit. You are sitting right now. He can't. He could not sit. Couldn't even sit in full lotus. Half lotus. Wow. He was sitting and they were pushing on a wheelchair when I was allowed to become a novice under him. So anyway, so he came out. And so you see this monk here wearing this robe here, and then he walked very gingerly because he's in pain. He walked, okay, with very little help. He could walk back then, and then 5 months later he could not walk anymore. He had to undergo dialysis every other day for 2 or 3 hours. Anyone have ever done dialysis? Extremely painful for 2 or 3 hours. Anyway, so he sat down, and the face is still full, okay? The face is the same as normal. There's no change whatsoever. But then when he reached up to scratch his neck or something, that's when I saw his arm. Okay? It itches, so he went up and scratched like this. And I saw, wow, the arm is only skin and bone. That's it. Just a tiny, tiny thing. And all I could think of, will you allow me to become more nervous? And that's what happens when that's the story of his life. He kept on giving and giving, and we keep on taking and taking and taking. Isn't that cool? And that's really the only person I've ever met who's like that. He gave and gave and gave until he could no longer give and then died. And I said, damn, I wish I had asked him a lot of questions. To this day, I say, my gosh, I wish I could have a chance to ask him questions. Now I don't know the answers. Till the day I die, I wouldn't know. Okay. Anyway, so that's talking about merit and virtue. And Master YongHua, by the way, is no Buddha yet. And yet, that's how he lived his life. Imagine Buddhas. What's the difference between Master YongHua and Buddhas? What's the difference in merit and virtue? Anyone knows? Master YongHua's merit and virtue is nowhere near the level of the Buddhas. Not even close. How is it possible? Because in order to get to the level of the Buddhas, he has to keep on doing this for a long, long time. It's a lot of sufferings. Is it clear? So don't bitch and moan and say, I suffered enough, Amitabha Buddha, allow me to come back. Hey, are you listening? See that? It's incredible. And Buddhas, they go through this. They go through Master YongHua's scenario, lifetime after lifetime after lifetime, endlessly. So I don't want to hear any complaints you hear. Master, my legs are hurting. Master, my knees hurting. Oh God, you are pussies. Questions or comments? Okay? Endure. Okay, so oceanic meaning countless. Master YongHua, again, I repeat to you, is such a beautiful personification of the Mahasava practice, where he comes and he takes on suffering after suffering after suffering, so that we suffer less. That's all. Okay, in order to help reduce suffering, what's the secret sauce? Ketchup and mustard. Right? And so he said, yeah, Master agrees. Ketchup and mustard. There you go. What's the secret sauce for relieving suffering? You suffer for them. That's the only way. There's no such a thing as I relieve your suffering, but I don't suffer. There's no such a thing. Okay? Questions or comments? Now I understand you said Buddhism is too much for me. I'm out of here. Okay, 5 minutes. I come back in 5 minutes. Huh? Isn't that cool? And how can they do that? How can people like Master YongHua do it? Is it real? The pain, is it real? Yes, it is. Remember, if they have the option of turning off the pain, but they don't. Why not? I just told you. Were you listening? If they say, I help you, but I will not take on your pain, guess what? They can't help you. Okay? Someone has to suffer. Either you or them, or him. Are you sure you want to continue this path, huh? Smart people would never do this. Only stupid people would do this. Okay? So, oceanic merit and virtue. So lifetime after lifetime, endlessly, they keep on doing it. They don't say, well, it's my 500th time, the next one, after the next one, I'll stop. I take a break. Nah, they don't think like we do, okay? And because they have boundless merit and virtue, this enables them to appear throughout the universe and employ the power of expedience. So because they have tremendous merit and virtue, boundless merit and virtue, they can go anywhere. Not just the Sahara world. They can go to Pure Land, Impure Land, East, West, North, South, everywhere in the universe. Okay? To do what? To use expedience, to deploy the power of expedience. What's expedience? I want you to open your mind, and as you listen to these stories of these higher beings, you see how small our world is. We are so concerned with ourselves, and yet these beings, they think about in terms of not 1 billion, 1 trillion, but countless, oceanic merit and virtue. Okay? Oceanic suffering they take on. No one is crying? No? Okay. Anyway, you see how selfish we are, how small we are. We're such small thinkers. Okay? We're so concerned only with ourselves, our very limited selves. Okay, so what are expedients? Expedients are what they use to help others to reduce the suffering or end the suffering, to benefit them, benefit living beings. That's why people with wisdom, when they help us, okay, people like bodhisattvas, mahasattvas, when they help us, it's not the way you think. Like, I'll give you an example of Master YongHua. When he came, by the time he died, and I joined, he died quickly, I was told he was doing 3 things. He says, 3 things he wanted us, my generation, to do. Translation, what else? Hey. What's the next one? Translation. What else? Education, or schools. Okay. What else? University. That includes. And what else? You learn nothing. It's beat into my brain. So, this is what we're supposed to do. 3 things only he asks us to do. Education, translation into English. Yes, DTT.
Hi, Master. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Hello?
Hallelujah.
Hi, Master. I had a question about so when these beings and taking Master YongHua as an example, when they just
Okay. Use light. Can you use light?
Hello? Am I back?
Okay. Turn off the light.
So these beings, when they choose to take on the sufferings of other living beings, like in the case of Master YongHua, is that also considered an expedient so that the more they suffer, the quicker they improve?
No, they take on suffering not in order to improve. It's different from us. We take on suffering to improve. They take on suffering because they like it. Okay, you see how far apart we are? We're still scheming. I want to improve, so how much can I take on more suffering so that I improve? Sounds familiar? Sounds like you? But Master YongHua says, I just take on suffering. It's not about improvement, because that's what I'm supposed to do, because I can. Is that clear? It's a different kind of mindset. Okay, so where were we again? They weren't even listening. Oof. Oh, number 3. What's number 3? Training. To train our people. He said, I train you, now it's your turn to train the newcomers and your disciples, 3rd generation. Okay? And what I feel that he probably didn't want to scare his disciples, because I'm teaching you. You have to suffer. Okay? You want the help, you have to suffer. No 2 ways about it. Okay? If you suffer enough, one day you like it. No, that doesn't sound right. I take it back. You guys are so wicked. So I think what Master YongHua did not elaborate on the training part. You want to train, you have to use expedients. Okay? If you don't know how to use expedients, you cannot train, you cannot help people. And this is understandable, because you need to get to a certain level before you know how to use expedients. Expedients are the tools, are the ruses that you use to help others. All right? So what does it mean? Expedient is that when they use expedients, you wouldn't know. Meaning that is not what you think. What does it also mean? It means that if you understand what they're doing, they can't help you. Does it make sense to you or not? If you understand what they're up to, you know what they're up to, they can't help you. That's why they have to use expedients. Buddhas and Mahasattvas all use expedience. You don't know what they're up to. It doesn't matter how smart you are, you cannot figure them out. It's impossible. Okay? So stop trying. Sounds good? I don't know. He said, I don't know. 265. Celestial King, Supreme Pure Light, gain a passage into liberation, of giving rise to a treasury of profound faith and delight in the powerful past vows of thus come ones.
最胜净光天王得如来往昔誓愿力，发生生性爱，药藏解脱门。
Okay, 266 commentary. This is a different kind of concept. The concept is that Buddhas, in order to become Buddhas, they have to go through many countless lifetimes of practices. Okay? And so just like us, they started like us, confused and scheming to get something from the Dharma master, getting some freebies, getting to be noticed, hope master likes me, and treats me better, and so forth, okay? And so we start with that. We all start with that. We all try to scheme for our own benefits. And then one day, we have the beginning of wisdom. We have wisdom. How do we know? When you have wisdom, that's when you make vows. Why make vows? Why make vows? Yeah? Why make vows? She's enjoying herself. So, oh, I'm enjoying watching Master squirm and sweat. It's so much fun. Yeah? So why make vows? You've forgotten?
To help you achieve a goal that you think it's impossible to achieve right now?
Okay, to help achieve the impossible dream, okay? Anyone else? Why do we make vows? Old habit.
Thầy, theo con nghĩ cái nguyện là để một cái con đường hướng dẫn mình phải tới cái hướng đó, có mục đích của mình.
Emitofuo Master, I think that vow is a path, way to lead us to reach that goal, our goals, the purpose that you want to do.
Okay, anyone else? Why do we make vows? Aha, you didn't know, did you? You forgot. Anyone remembers why you make vows? Yeah? I'm not sure I want to tell you. I'm not sure you deserve to learn this powerful Dharma. Yes, Wei Mountain.
Master, I remember you say that to create a drive to move forward. Master used to say that eighth ground bodhisattva, they have to make vows so that they can get out of the state they're in and to be able to create a Buddha land for them.
I said that? It sounds so profound. My God. Anyone else? Why? Why do you make vows? Yes, 5.
Thank you, Master. Is it when you started to find the meaning of your existence, the true meaning?
The true meaning of your existence. This sounds so profound. Yeah, okay. Wei Mao.
Hello, Master. I'm not so profound. I think we make vows because we have a desire to become better than what we are, to reach something higher than what we see around ourselves, to emulate the bodhisattvas and Buddhas.
Okay. Can I paraphrase it for you? May I?
Of course, Master.
Repeat what you just said. As soon as you were saying, I immediately came up with a paraphrase, but as soon as you stop, I forgot. That's how fragile my concentration is nowadays. Yes.
You don't have the heat that we have here. Do you have heat? Right now, we're sweltering here in Wei
It's
Mountain.
only 92 right now. I don't know what you call the heat.
Okay, well, we're sweltering here with our fans and trying to keep in the shade. I think I said something to the effect that we want to rise above ourselves to become better than what we are, to emulate the Buddhas and the Bodhisattvas who are showing us how to make vows.
I forgot. Okay, it didn't come back at all. Sorry. Never mind. Okay. Anyone else? There is another thing. JC. Yes.
어느 순간 자신의 괴로움을 느끼고 그것을 스스로 해결할 수 없다는 것을 알게 되기 때문입니다. 어느 순간 자신의 괴로움을 느끼고 그 괴로움을 스스로 해결할 수 없다는 것을 알게 되기 때문입니다.
I believe that suddenly we feel the suffering and then realize that we cannot help ourselves. That's why we make vows.
Very good. Anyone else? Why do we make vows? Yes, 4.
Emitofuo, Master. I think the cultivation journey is a long journey, and we make vows so it will imprint it in our age consciousness, so it can lead us through the next life and the next life, so we don't forget what we're doing.
Very Buddhist. Yes, Wei Mountain. God, this guy is so Buddhist. Can you talk to your wife in normal language at all? Yes, Wei Mountain.
Thank you, Master. I guess I was kind of going along those lines. I was going to say there's some power in making vows that plant seeds for the future so that we fulfill them. And I imagine we get help as well from Buddhas and Bodhisattvas to accomplish them.
God, these guys know too much. I'm looking for something like English. English, please. Anyone, why do you make vows? Can I tell you? You give up, right? Because you only throw Buddhist things at me, which I don't know why you keep on throwing Buddhist things at me. Is it something about me or what? Vows are powers. Go ahead, Wei Mountain.
No, sorry. There's one part that I think of is when they're about to get married, they make a vow. to try to fulfill it, and then they never fulfill it.
Yeah, okay.
The divorced people.
Okay, most people don't fulfill the vows. Yeah, okay, I agree. Okay, it's right here, folks. It's so beautiful. Yes, JMT.
오늘 세운다는 것은 실행하겠다는 의지를 나타낸다고 생각합니다.
Making vow is actually showing a person's will that they will show, they will do it. Thank you.
99%. Let me paraphrase it for you in English, okay? I'm kind of don't want to use Buddhist jargon for some reason, okay? Vows are, you make vows in order to use powers of your mind. You guys don't realize how powerful your mind is. Your mind is so powerful, and you don't realize it. So, when you reach a certain level, where we look at you and say, oh, now you really you are a good person, not like, I don't know, sometimes I'm good, sometimes I'm bad, okay? Then now that you're committed to be a good person, then we teach you how to use the power of your mind. And this is what the Chinese don't explain to their own kind. Because the Chinese don't get it anymore. You're not impressed. The Chinese like to claim, well, there's one in the back there. The Chinese like to claim that they own Mahayana. Taiwanese too say Mahayana is from us. But guess what? They don't even know why they're making vows. Now, why they're taught to make vows. I'm explaining it to you. You need to reach a certain level. Okay, this is what's amazing to me. When I learn about vows, I said, vows? Come on. I made wedding vows too. I didn't hold them to my wedding vows. Hell, I made it because I'm told to make them. You regret them too? Never mind, okay? See now how hot Dewey is. Okay, so here's what happens. It used to bother me because I asked, and I learned about Mahayana, and I said, vows? I never could keep my vows. Honest to God. I made a lot of vows, I never came any close. I swore to be with her for richer, for poorer, for sickness in health, and all those darn things, and I didn't. And so I know how serious I am about making vows. It never stopped me from making vows, okay? But I'm never serious until I came to Buddhism, and then guess what? Master Hsuan disciples, a guy in Long Beach, he said, Master Hsuan taught us how to make vows. I said, really? Here we go again, I was telling myself. Now he's dead, and now I'm supposed to learn how to make vows. And he's not even around. And so that Long Beach guy used to brag about, he said, Master Hsuan would bring us together and said, I'll teach you how to make vows. So each one of you make a vow. Okay, so they all made vows, and Master Hsuan said, no, that's a wrong vow. Let me correct it for you. So he corrected all their vows. All of them, more or less. So I heard that and said, so who's going to correct my vows now? You? Really? And sure enough, it's all nonsense. So it really bothered me. It really bothered me. And it made me feel very inadequate, very stupid, because I never learned how to make vows. I was never taught how to make vows from Master Hsuan. And I was hoping that no one ever asked me how to correct their vows. And don't you dare. Now you know my secret, okay? Forget about vows. I'm not into vows, okay? So finally, so I need to be honest with you. It used to bother me a lot. I said, I can't make vows. I don't know how to make vows. No one ever taught me. Never had a real teacher who said, no, your vow is wrong. Oh, that's cool. That's okay. That's correct. Okay? Unless someone teaches you how, you're going to figure it out. Okay? So anyway, and so finally today, I'm telling you and sharing with you, forget the Chinese, because he's dead already. I'm telling you, why in Buddhism we wait until you have wisdom. Not only wisdom alone, it's high-level wisdom. Then we teach you how to make vows. So don't blame me for not teaching you how to make vows if your level is too low. Okay? But assuming your level is high, okay, I'm explaining to you why you have to make vows. You have to make vows because, again, remember, high level means that you are a good guy, a good gal, if you want, okay? Meaning that your heart wants to do good. Yes, it has problems in there, okay? But fundamentally, it's a good heart. You're a good person, okay? Because of that, you should be taught how to use the power of your mind to help your cultivation. So Master YongHua used to tell them, make vows. The more powerful your vows, the better it is. And it's never explained to me. It used to bother me a lot. I said, why? Why do you have to make, like, I want to help. Master YongHua says, I want to help all the arhats become enlightened. I said, yeah, only arhats? Master YongHua, wait. I have another vow. Vow number 13. I vow to help all the Pratyeka Buddhas become Bodhisattvas. I said, only Pratyeka Buddhas? I said, wait. So you went from helping arhats, Pratyeka Buddhas, I don't know, whatever. I don't remember his 18 vows anymore. Okay? But I used to look at that and say, you are so narrow-minded. Why you only help the arhats, only help the Pratyeka Buddhas, only help, the Chinese, and so forth? And say, it's too narrow. Okay? He's still differentiating. It's still discrimination there. Okay? And so that's why I don't want to make vows his style. I just want to explain to you, okay, that the more powerful, more profound, more vast your vows are, you're harnessing the power inside your mind. That's the real secret. Am I making sense to you? That process there, by making a vow to save all the arhats, so he's harnessing this power from his mind that's enough to save all the arhats. That's his secret. That's their secrets. So if you make a vow and you say, I make a vow that I can accomplish, it's more manageable for me, then what are you doing? You're only harnessing a very small portion of the power of your mind. Am I making sense to you? And that power right there transcends lifetimes. Okay? It's not just this lifetime, but since you made a vow that you will be married to him again, Next lifetime, you keep on looking for him and chase after him. That's the power of your mind. Are you sure you want to do that? Questions and comments? And this is a Buddhist secret. Your mind is so powerful that you need to activate it. Turn on the switch. That's the form of vows. The vow is just a switch. Flip it on. Say, I'm going to use it for this. Make sense or not? No? I don't care. So that's why they use the word powerful past vows, because what happened is the vows, you remember, the vows transcend bodies, transcends time. Okay? So this lifetime you make this vow here, this vast vows, it's that force is still there. It's been activated. The force is still with you. Next lifetime, and you make more vows, now you are harnessing even more force. You see that? And you make more vows each lifetime, you have this tremendous spiritual power. When the non-Buddhists, they practice, they say, I want to fly, I want to make a pencil move. I said, you want to move? Push it. Easier and faster, man. No, they said, move. So they train the mind how to do. Yeah, it's done. It can be done, by the way. It's not that hard. But but why? Yeah, and so that's why I say it's like abuse of the mind. Your mind is not supposed to do trivial things like that, and that's all you do. You spend the whole hour, the whole day, the whole month, the whole year, 10 years trying to move a pencil. So stupid some people are. And because their teachers don't understand. Teacher says, hey, wouldn't that be impressive if I move a pencil and you can't? Okay, so the vows transcends lifetimes, and it's this power of your mind that never dies. That's the meaning of powerful past vows. So lifetime after lifetime, Buddhas on the Bodhisattva grounds, on the practice grounds, they made vows after vows after vows, and those are it rallies all sorts of powerful mind from them, power from their mind. They enable them to have these spiritual powers, these blessings, these incredible things. Because it takes time for that to happen. If you knew that, you agree you should be making vows or not? She says, no. This thing, no, not me. Okay. See that? That's why it takes, you reach a certain level, and then you have wisdom, you say, wow, how do I wield more power? How can I harness more power for my work? Okay? For us, in a real world, we get more power by what? By going to school, acquiring more knowledge, yes? Make alliances so that more people support us and help us out, right? In cultivation, who's going to help us? So we need to learn how to wield and rally our own mental powers. That's what we have. Yes, DTT.
Hi, Master. Thank you for explaining the importance of vows to us. I think this concept is maybe much higher level than I can understand. But I'm curious, at what level do people make vows at? And is this only for left-tone people, or is this also attainable for lay people as well?
Very good. When should we be making vows? Can I paraphrase it? Yes? Absolutely. You should make vows now. As soon as you become Buddhist, you vow to save all living beings, which is impossible. No one can. Buddhists can't even save all living beings, and we're supposed to save living beings? We still make vows. You see that? Okay? But the difference then is that at low level you make vows because it's part of your drills and part of you creating affinities with the people who have wisdom when you don't have yet. Okay? That's your connection to them. When you say, I make a vow, I vow to save all, to help all orphans. Okay? Because you see them suffering and you say, I don't like this, I want to help. So you say, I want to help all the Nigerian orphans. Okay? You make that vow. It turns out that there's a bodhisattva who also made a vow as well. His vow is, I vow to save all Nigerian and Chinese and Russian orphans. So guess what? Because your vow overlaps with his, that's how you draw upon his power. Does it make sense? See how clever it is? We teach you to make vows to take advantage of the powers of bodhisattvas. It's a very good question, by the way. But you should be ashamed of asking that. Say, I have no wisdom, I'm stupid, how am I supposed to make vows? You understand now? Because when you make that vow, you say, I vow to save orphans in Nigeria. Then the bodhisattva who made a vow to save all orphans will have to come and help you. Isn't that cool? It is very clever. That's how he got help without asking for help.
So does that...
Yeah.
Hello? Can you hear me, Matt? Hello? Can you hear me now?
Oh my God. Only DTT has all sorts of sound issues. There's no sound god there at all. We should talk to the abbot. Yes, go ahead.
Am I back?
Yeah, we can hear you. Continue.
Okay. Make vows regardless of the level that we are, whether it's saving animals or people, just in hopes to, I guess, overlap with the vow that a bodhisattva or mahasattva has made. And is that a expedient?
Yeah, we're teaching you to use it so that first of all, it trains you to think less of yourself. Okay? Because if you say, I vow to strengthen my arms and become rich, which bodhisattva is going to help you, you think? The bodhisattva who works out. Okay? So you have to find common grounds. So how many bodhisattvas work out, you think? Only losers work out. You see? So that's why you taught to make vows, because that's how you get help indirectly, from the people who whose vows overlap with yours for the sake of helping others. Okay? Good question.
Thank you, Master.
Anyone else? Okay, so your vows, your past vows of the Buddhas, they made humongous vows, okay? And that's why they carry tremendous power. They're harnessing all this power, lifetime of a lifetime, and they become stronger and stronger, okay? And that's what this Mahasattva saw. He said, wow, these Buddhas, they made this vow when he was Russian, and then he became black, and he made more vows, and he became white, he made more vows, and so forth. And so he saw the progression of the Buddha's past vow, and every time he saw how the Buddha became stronger and improved more and more, harnessed more power from the vows, okay? And that's how, yes, Wei Mountain.
Oh, Master, I was just going to say, make a comment that I find this really very exciting, that we could really tap into the power of our mind and band together with Buddhas and Bodhisattvas to do good and keep building on that. I'm very excited.
Yeah, it's keep it for Americans only. Don't tell the Chinese. The Chinese never told their own kind this, you know that?
Well, yeah, well, what are we going to do about them? But I still think it's very exciting. Thank you, Master.
You're welcome. Okay, so far so good? It's so cool, isn't it? I mean, if I was explaining that, I would have made vows. Now I know I start making vows myself. Never mind. Okay, so that's a powerful past vows of the Buddhas. Okay, and when we saw how, looking at their life stories, how they made vows, this vow and that vow, incrementally more powerful vows, and how they harnessed more power, they developed profound faith. They say, wow, Buddhas are so cool. They're so special. They're so superior. Ain't nothing like them. Except for some in America. Okay? So they develop profound faith from watching all the unfolding and the fulfillment of the Buddha's vows. And delight. Delight actually, I love. They like it so much, and they enjoy it. Okay, they have delight is okay, but delight is too worldly. I love here is actually from the heart. I is from the heart. The heart really likes it. It's inexpressible. Like when you like someone, and you ask, why do you like her? You say, well, her hair. Is that it? The way she smiles. You see, so the heart is very complicated. You can't describe it, use words to describe it. That's the I thing here. Okay? The heart likes it so much. And it is multifaceted. That's the I, is the love. Okay? And the love here is you like it here, okay? But love here is up here. The bliss. Your mind feels blissful. Hey, you like it, huh, Shorty? Buddhism, when you enjoy yourself, it's here, it's here, both. So when you drink, worldly people, when they drink, where do they enjoy it? She's smiling right away. You should control yourself. As soon as I talk about drinking, I don't know, some people are so easily read. Him too. Yeah? So when you drink, where do you enjoy it? I've told you about Buddhists. We enjoy here, we enjoy here. How about drinking? Where do you enjoy it? Where? Here? Here. Not here. Do you like it here? Or here? It's here, right? How much is it here? Not for her. She says, I'm zero. Yeah? Anyone, when you drink, how much do you like it here? He says, no, zero. We zero. Zero. I'm a mental guy, you know. You see? That's why there's a difference between worldly pleasure versus spiritual pleasure. Spiritual pleasure is here and here. It's not imagination. Okay? All right. Okay, so by looking at the power from the Buddha's vows, past vows, he developed profound faith. He found it so delightful. He said, wow, never saw anything this wonderful. Next. At that time, Celestial King Winsome Light received the Buddha's awesome spiritual power, universally contemplated the multitudes of the heavens of lesser light, the heavens of limited light, and the heavens of utmost light, and spoke the following verse.
尔时，可爱耀光明天王成佛威力，普观一切少光天、无量光天、极光天众，而说颂言。
All right, 268. So this is a pattern in the Avatamsaka Sutra. They talk about concepts, and then what they do. Then this is in terms of prose, spoken language, and then they use some verses to reiterate, to put more emphasis, and maybe present a slightly different angle. Okay, and how does it happen? The verses, okay. Verses in Buddhism, especially in the Avatamsaka Sutra, usually they receive the Buddha's awesome spiritual power. So they get help, because it's rather difficult to make verses that are impressive. I don't know about you. I don't know to make verses at all. My teacher, Master YongHua, he makes poems left and right. And his disciples also made poems, okay? They also said, since Master writes poems, I should write poems too. And since day one, I said, I'm supposed to write poems, and to this date, I still can't. Okay? So anyway, but now I'm discovering, by learning through the sutra, that don't try to make verses yourself. Pray to the Buddha and Bodhisattva. Let them compose verses for you. That's smart, man. Okay? So he contemplated. But the verses are instructions for an audience. The audience for these verses are the celestial beings in the second dhyana heavens. Okay? Keep that in mind. Questions? I have 3 more minutes. if I start the verse, we're going to go over time. I want to give you a choice. Shall we quit early or should we quit late? JC.
왕생위전 회향에 대해서 질문 있습니다. 어제 왕생위전을 회향을 하는데 제가 가족을 위해서 다른 예불처럼 회향하는 마음을 가졌는데 생각해보니 이게 목적이 있는 예불이라 그렇게 하면 안 되고 돌아가신 분을 위한 마음만을 가져야 되는 건지 궁금합니다.
Master, yesterday, for merit and virtue that we created from the ceremony, I basically give that merit and virtue for my family. But then suddenly I realized that the purpose of this giving merit and virtue is for the deceased person. Is that true or?
Don't think too much. You follow the procedure, the ceremony, then at the end of the ceremony, we give the merit and virtue to all living beings, including the deceased. And the concept is that the reason we're doing this is to benefit the deceased, yes? But to more greatly, to provide greater benefits to the deceased, we should give it away to everyone. That's a Buddhist wisdom. So you follow the liturgy, it takes care of everything. Don't have to think too much. Okay, your family is included already. Okay, and if you don't worry so much about your family, they get more out of it. And that's a beauty of the Dharma itself. Okay, your family will not suffer any losses. Does it help?
위하는 마음을 가지지 않고 예불을 따라하는 게 더 좋다는 말씀이십니까? 네, 예불할 때 이제 가족에 대한 걱정이 있으면 가족에 대한 회향을 하는데 그런 걱정 없이 예불을 따라하는 것이 더 낫다고 말씀하시는 건지.
So, Master, I'd like to confirm. So, during the ceremony, are you suggesting that if I have worries for my family, I should not think about that, and then don't worry about like transferring all that, and then everything will be included in the ceremony?
Yes. You get a lot more when you don't worry about them. Okay? We teach you to do all these things in order to provide far greater benefits to yourself and your family. All right, thank you everyone. We stop here today.